Gal Ezra here. When I delivered the ADHD program originally, it came out of a necessity because so many people told me that they have ADHD. Executives, people I worked with, moms told me their kids have ADHD. And every time I answered them and I said, no, what you think you have is not what you have. And they said, what do you mean? I definitely do. And I said, no, you're looking at it wrong. I need to give you some data about how it actually needs to be viewed and a solution will come about. And they always said, okay, explain it to me. And I've explained it to many people. I've helped many people with their ADHD, but I had to put it together in a proper program. And that's what you're about to watch free. Now, the first part is free and it's really powerful. It'll already get your mind going, whoa, okay, there's something to this. And what Gal's saying is different. You have to watch it all the way through though, and you'll see, okay, there's something different here. So stick with it. But there are other parts as well, and those cost money because they're super valuable. But if you keep watching, I'm going to give you some unbelievable discounts, offers, and ways that you can get this $199 program for almost nothing, just because you're tuning in to this free segment. So enjoy, give it your time, actually pay attention, and it might be the answer to ADHD that you've been looking for. I'm going to start to discuss ADD, ADHD. There's a few people that are on the money mind that ask me about it. There's many people I've explained it to in the past, or people that ask me about it. So we're going to get into that topic today. Yeah.
Awesome. Great timing.
Yeah, perfect timing. Perfect timing. Excellent. Let's go over agreements. Number one, no recording, video, audio, screenshots, etc. Number two, nothing I say today is true unless it's true for you. We're starting to talk about ADHD. I know it's a topic that can be sensitive for people, but it doesn't mean that just because I said it, it's true. It's just a concept I'm giving you. Take it or leave it. It's totally fine. That's my take on things. Okay? So nothing I say today is true, and this applies to anything unless it's true for you. Okay, next. Don't let me move from point A to point B before you understand point A. All I teach is simple, since the end result of complication is unworkability. If it gets really complicated, you don't do it. If it's simple, sometimes you don't do it too because you think it's too simple. So you're like, that's not going to work. But you'll find that if you realize that simple means powerful, simple means workable, it works at least, you will do it. So simple is what we're going for, not complicated. And most importantly, you're not a spectator in the class, you're a participant, a partaker. You will get results only if you participate, which you guys are very, very good at. We're going to learn applicable knowledge, and the purpose is results, not thinking. We're talking today about ADHD. It's the beginning of a series to teach you something that you haven't really looked at before, and it's a different angle, but as I said, it's workable. It's workable. Is it the most accurate, 100% absolutely true, be-all, end-all piece of knowledge in the whole wide world? No. But does it work? Does it resolve ADHD? Always? Yes. So I'll take it. Let's start. Problems. We're talking about problems. Before ADHD, I have a couple of questions that you must look at. So you that's listening right now, you must look at this. I'm going to need you to actually participate and look at this. Firstly, before that question or those couple of questions, let me ask you this, okay? Do you agree that when you have a problem, you're missing a solution? Pretty simple. If you have a problem, you're missing a solution, yes? Yes. Okay, perfect. Good. Do you agree that it will then remain a problem for you? If you're missing the solution, it will remain a problem. Robert, no. Okay, go, Robert, you can unmute and tell me. Because I really want to make sure that everybody understands. Yes, and you can turn on your video.
Yeah, maybe I don't understand.
No problem.
If I'm missing the problem, then if I'm if I'm missing the solution, then I'm going to seek out and find the problem, or find the solution to that problem.
Wonderful. If you find the solution, that's great. But when you have a problem, at that moment that you have the problem, it means at that time you don't have a solution.
Okay, gotcha.
True. For the moment that you have the problem, you don't have a solution. When there's a solution, there's no longer the problem. Yes?
Yeah, correct. Okay.
Okay, great. So it will then remain a problem for you. For as long as you don't have a solution, it's remaining a problem. Okay. Now, do you agree that every problem has a source, a reason for the problem? If you have a problem, there's some source for that problem. If I have a headache, it's because I'm dehydrated. If I have a heart attack, it's because something was up with my, I don't know, cholesterol, whatever. Yes, there's always some source for the problem. The car accident that you see in front of you is because there was a source that the guy was drunk. So something happened before to bring about the problem. Yes, excellent, good. Okay, do you agree that you cannot solve the problem before you found the right source for the problem? There can be many reasons. It won't resolve until you find the right source, yes? Good. Now, by the way, you'll notice that this lesson is true for any problem you're having in life, or in business, or with relationships, or with health, or with ADHD. Okay? But it applies to anything. Very good. So we have the problem of ADHD, or any problem. Let's have a look and discover what is the source of this problem. Now, how to ID the source? That's a good question, Kelly. Let's learn. Let's learn. How do you ID the source? Okay, and let's have a look and discover what's the source of this ADHD problem. Okay, but before we have a few things until we can get there. I'm teaching you a bit of theory around it so that you understand how do we resolve this problem, because ADHD is something that if somebody has it, they generally consider it's a problem that will remain. That's why here, the second question where I said, do you agree that it will then remain a problem for you? Most people, ADHD remains a problem for them, which means they're missing a solution. So let's see. Hey, thanks so much for making it this far into the video. I do want to remind you that I'll be coming up here and there with a couple of offers that'll really be interesting for you. And the first offer is this. If you want free, totally free coaching from one of our coaches, you can go to the link in the description of this video and get about 30 minutes or more if needed, free, to get actual help for you and your problem in business or in life, or with ADHD, of course. So I'll be coming in here a few more times, but for now, I just wanted to tell you, hey, you can get free coaching. Okay, let's get back to the training. Here's the question you must look at first, and I need all of you to give me an answer. And if you're ever watching this one day as a recording, write down your answer. What do you think is the reason for ADHD? Why do people have ADHD? And note down your answers. So I need you to keep that for later. So write it down for yourself once you've written in the chat. Remember your answer or answers. What's the reason for ADHD? Do you think it's because your brain has some chemical imbalance? It's how you're born, it's your genetics, it's how you were raised, the way your family raised you, the will of God, something in your physical makeup. What do you think? It's a label for believing fake realities. Okay, I don't disagree. But what do you think is, what would you tell somebody if you were talking to a kid? What would you tell them is the reason for their ADHD? Or if you ever thought you have ADHD, what's the reason? Marketing, yes, of big pharma, yes, Harold. But what do you think is the general reason? Genetic, good, Barbara. So a genetic reason, okay, good. It can be a genetic thing. Too much sugar, okay, yes, can create ADHD symptoms, 100%. Simply wired differently, Robert. Okay, so it's a wiring thing. Where is the wiring? Is it the wiring in the brain, or is it mental thing? Is it wiring in your chest that, like Iron Man has this thing here that everybody has? What type of wiring? Good, Harold. Dead people don't talk. That's an inside joke. Um, Myrtle, too many open cycles on the mind. Very good. So too many open cycles. That's great. What do you think? What is the reason? It's a physical difference in the brain. Okay, good. Good. And what are the other reasons that you've heard for why ADHD exists? A different diagnosis, Vusani? Okay, good. What are some other reasons that you maybe heard that ADHD comes about? Maybe the kid was raised in a tough family, or because usually it's a bit more weighted towards children, but a lot of adults will say, "Look, I have ADHD." It's you're easily distracted, yes, but why? That's one of the symptoms. But why is a kid or an adult or anyone easily distracted? What's the source for ADHD? What's the reason for ADHD? How come you have ADHD? An excuse to poor teaching by teachers. Okay, very good, Kelly, very good. Why do you think that you have ADHD? Somebody, struggles to focus even in conversation. Somebody can't really concentrate on a task at hand. They go to build their business and they keep getting distracted. Why is it happening? Why do they have this thing that they can't give their attention? Because ADHD is attention deficit. Yes, you don't have enough attention. So why? And a lot of people will say, I have ADHD. Okay, let's have a look. Yes, Robert.
The idea that we don't have enough attention, I think is inaccurate, where it's more the executive function of the brain doesn't work the same as others. I mean, when I'm really into something, I have all the attention in the world, and literally I lose track of space and time.
Yeah,
So I have a lot of attention. It's just
yeah.
a matter of where that attention is focused.
Yes, exactly. So it's interesting because sometimes you can put attention on certain things. Yes, because ADHD stands for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, okay? Meaning attention deficit, not enough, lacking attention, hyperactivity, you're too active, and it's a disorder. There's something wrong with it. And we'll get to really defining it and so forth. So we're going to get on to the definition, but purely symptoms wise, you can sometimes focus on something and sometimes you can't. Correct, Robert? On certain things. So,
Yes and no. I mean, that's a pretty simple way to say it.
yeah,
The the There's not really a choice though of
yeah.
what what I can choose to focus on. I guess that's not accurate either. For me, and I can
Yeah,
only speak for myself,
sure.
if it's something that I'm actively interested in, like a new hobby, something that is uh, new and different, and it's something that I want to learn, then I can really dig into it and be focused until it's no longer novel.
Mhm.
And then it becomes boring. And then I lose interest and it's no longer as easy to focus on it.
Ah, okay. So at the beginning, you are interested, and then over time, you lose interest. Is that correct?
But that doesn't happen every time, but
Not
yeah,
always. Not
yeah.
always. Yeah, so it's something that's sometimes, yes, because for example, you work in sales, you have been focused on sales, even though it's not novel, for a very long time, and you love it and you can focus on it, correct?
Yes,
So,
but it's not the sales that I'm focused on. It's the novel, the newness of every interaction with
sure.
people that is there's something different every time.
Yeah, okay, 100%. But there's sometimes that there's certain topics that you can still it's still, even though it's not as novel for you, you can still focus on it and can still be interested,
Yes.
still learn on the subject. And there's some things
Yes.
that are novel and that fades away for some reason. You cannot focus on it and you don't know why. You lose the ability to give it your
Yes.
attention, correct?
Yep.
Okay, and then so why? Why does that happen? What's the reason for the ADHD on that area that was originally novel and then goes away?
I've done a lot of like reading and research on it, and
Yeah.
I honestly don't think they have a definitive clear source of it. And the
Yeah.
what's actually causing it. I think the best description that I've come across is that the the synapses in our brain that transmit dopamine and norepinephrine. What's the other one? I forget.
Okay.
Just they just don't work the same as other people.
Okay. So did it
Where
resolve the
it's
problem? That well, not now that you know that, is the ADHD resolved or no?
yes. So yes, in that for me, if I take medication, it is way better,
Not with
and I'm able to
medication, not by masking the problem. Is the problem resolved?
just by knowing.
Yeah, just is the ADHD itself resolved now that you know that it's the synapses in your brain? Did it handle the ADHD?
No,
No.
no.
So what do we know? Okay, let's go back just back here for a second. When you have a problem, you're missing a solution. It will then remain a problem for you. Therefore, every problem has a source, a reason. And if you cannot solve the problem, you means you don't have the right source for the problem. So if we said it's the synapses, but immediately, wow, ADHD is now resolved, now that we know it's the synapses, then we don't have the right source for the problem. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes and no.
Okay. What's the no?
I don't know. I'll
Okay.
let you continue.
Okay. So I'll put it to you this way, okay? For a bit of background data. Number one, I've helped hundreds of people that had ADHD never have it again. I was part of when I was like 16 years old. First of all, I went to a school that had tons of kids with supposedly with ADHD arrive, and turns out they were all A plus students. They just had to learn what I'm teaching you. No medication, no nothing. They're going to learn what I'm about to teach you. Number two, because our school was so good, we were sent, it was a school in Oregon, we were sent to Louisiana. It was a project that ran for about a year. They sent 4 kids at a time for 2.5 weeks. I was one of the 4 kids of one of the routes to the worst school in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We were there working with the kids, really terrible school, the worst school. And all these kids have ADHD and a million other things. And we very quickly showed that they don't actually have ADHD, and we made them star students. My dad worked in major schools in Israel, the worst schools in Israel, teaching them what I'm about to teach you. And it solved the kids that are terrible ADHD, parents in jail, drug addict parents, no home, broken families, ADHD to the max. And with what I'm about to teach you, they resolve the ADHD with no medication, just what I'm about to teach you. The problem is that it's too simple. It's simple. And because it's simple, it's going to seem to you like, nah, all the biggest doctors in the world say that it's because of your chemicals in your mind, and nobody's been able to resolve it, and. But they haven't resolved it. They've only medicated for it. So it didn't resolve the ADHD. Then I'm sorry, they don't have the actual source. If I can take any kid with ADHD and show that they can learn anything and remain focused and love it, then it sounds like I have a better solution for ADHD, wouldn't you say? Wow, amazing. Yes, exactly. Exactly, Harold. And yeah, yes, exactly. Okay. Now, the other thing I want to tell you, and it might come across like a bitter pill to swallow literally, because I want to talk to you about medication. And this is for everyone listening and for anybody that ever listens. Medication is a mask to the problem. Taking Ritalin for ADHD is like having a light on your dashboard that says you're low on fuel and breaking the light on the dashboard and saying, oh, there we go, I resolved my fuel problem. It's exactly like that. There's a source for the problem, just like this slide here. There's a source for the problem, and what you do is you medicate to reduce it, reduce the symptoms so that you can temporarily focus better with a huge list of negative side effects. But it didn't resolve the ADHD itself. You didn't resolve the problem. So I'm not against medical treatment and whatever you need, but I am encouraging a life with no medication, and that's what we're going for. Hey, it's me again, and yes, medication is just a mask to the problem. It's covering up something that's much deeper. It doesn't give a solution, and I'm sure you're starting to see that. Now, as I told you, this whole training is $199 program. There's more lessons coming, quite a few, and you'll see that they are completely the answer and solution to ADHD. So if you want to get them, it won't be $199 for you. It will only be $19 for you. $19, only $19 for many lessons and a super powerful solution to ADHD that nobody anywhere explains or looks at. As you can see, these are the answers you've been looking for. How do you do it? You go to the link in the description, you click it, you go to pay, and you'll see that there's a discount code or a promo code section in there. And what you will put is the letters AD19. AD19. Put that in and you'll see it will go from $199 to just $19. A crazy offer only because you're watching this. Okay, let's get back to the video. All right, so let's look at this. Okay, there are many reasons that people think for ADHD. Okay, now let's look at the right source. Let's see, okay? We said that to resolve any problem, you need to know the source of the problem, yes? Pretty simple, but it's something refreshing to look at. To resolve any problem, you need to resolve the source. Yes, Barbara is unmuted. Let me mute you, Barbara. You're making some noise there. There we go. Kelly, the story about going to that school in Baton Rouge must be so interesting. Yeah, it was amazing. It was a really amazing school. And they sent us kids. We were 16, 17 years old. We went on a tutoring program. We lived in Baton Rouge for 2.5 weeks at a time. They flew us down. We worked with the kids. And over this year process, us kids helped those other kids to majorly improve in the school. In their grades and in the subjects that they were studying and so forth. Learning the basics I'm about to teach you is what we taught them. So to resolve any problem, you need to know the source of the problem. Brilliant, yes, thank you. So how do you know if you found the right source or not? How do you know if you found the right source or not? A question to chew on for 10 seconds. How do you know if you found the right source or not? You're sitting at a boardroom, in a board meeting, and everybody has 1,000,001 reasons for why sales are plummeting. How do you know if each person's reason is the right source or not? You have an issue with your health. How do you know if you found the right source or not? Every YouTube video gives you a different reason. Or we have ADHD. How do we know if we have the right source or not? You have results. Yes, you found the right source if your solution works to resolve it. Okay, yeah, good. So the problem gets resolved. Exactly, you found exactly. So let's see. Answering this correctly for ADHD, business, life, is the difference between life or death, failure or success, literally. The answer to how you know if you found the right source or not is obviously if the problem is solved or not. If it starts to resolve immediately, You found the right source. And by the way, there's two exact ways to know. There's two characteristics that must exist to know if it's the real reason or an excuse. I'm not getting into those two reasons right now. But bottom line, do things resolve? Did the ADHD go away? Did the sales improve? Is your life going up finally? And that's what we're looking at. Now, since you claim that you or others have ADHD, it means that the problem is not solved. If you say I have ADHD, or you say my friend has ADHD, or you say that ADHD is a real thing, then basically what you're saying is I don't know the source for it. So it's a problem that exists. And I'm saying it doesn't even exist. And that really rubs people the wrong way if I say, look, ADHD doesn't even exist. It's something that the minute you say you have it, it goes away instantly because it's so resolvable that it doesn't exist. If I don't have any knee pain doesn't exist for me. If I don't have ADHD, ADHD doesn't exist for me. So I'm literally saying that if you say you have ADHD, it means that you currently still have the problem, which means, and this is the thing that you need to gain the ability to look at, what I'm about to tell you. This is what this means, which means it's not that you don't know what the source of your problem is. It's not that you don't know what the source of your problem is. It's worse. It's not that you don't know what the source of ADHD is, okay? It's worse. You have the wrong source for the problem. If you just didn't know and you said, I don't know what the source is, I have no idea, and now you're open. But if you have the wrong source, now we have a really big problem. If you think that the reason for my ADHD is because of my parents, now you have the wrong source. Now you blame your parents and you have a grudge against them and resentment, and it's all because of your parents, and you have the wrong source for the problem. It's even worse than just saying, I don't know, I have a problem, I don't know why. But now I blame my parents too. I bring them into this. I throw them into the ring. So when you have the wrong source for the problem, you put other issues into the ring, which makes the problem worse. Are you with me so far? Good. Yes. Okay, good. Okay. Now imagine, I'm going to give you some examples. Imagine you have a business and you think that the reason you're not making money is that you don't invest enough in marketing. Okay? Now, the reason I'm going into business is because I want to explain to you that this principle of what I'm about to teach you, this basic principle that you have to learn first about problems, is not spearheaded at people with ADHD. I'm not trying to make anybody that has ADHD wrong or feel like what they know is totally invalidated and that they're incorrect, because that's really not my point. I'm teaching a general principle about problems, and it'll apply to any type of problem. Right now we're putting a focus on ADHD, but I want to show you that this applies to anything. That if your problem is not getting resolved, you have the wrong source. You know wrong. So let's look at business. You have a business and you think the reason you're not making money is that you don't invest enough in marketing, which sounds good. Yes, that would make sense. That you have a marketing problem. That's why my business is not making money. Yeah, anyone can agree with that, yes? That's a good reason. Yeah. Okay, so, by the way, are you guys with me? Is everyone with me? Yes, okay, thank you, Myrtle, perfect. Okay, just want to make sure that yeah, okay, good, perfect. I'm tracking, good. So you invest more in marketing. Okay, now you lean into this supposed problem. Yet the business is still not successful. It's still not making profit. You still have the problem. The actual problem that's hidden from you is, and this is a made-up hypothetical example, but it's something that we've seen happen. The person that's responsible for the marketing is getting a cut of every dollar you spend with the marketing agency. So you give money to a marketing agency to help you, but your head of marketing is getting a cut of everything you give the marketing agency. So it costs you much more because this head of marketing keeps wanting to send money to the marketing agency. And so he has an interest to make sure the marketing doesn't work. As the less the marketing works, the more you invest in marketing because you have the wrong source, the more money he makes the worse things get for you. Are you with me? Do you see how that can happen? It's like, oh my God, this is a different reason. I thought my problem was marketing. Meanwhile, there's a guy getting a cut who's benefiting from me doing the wrong thing. Yes, LOL, yes. Okay, good. It's an example, but not something that's unlikely to happen. Now, this applies to anything. Imagine you think the reason that you don't lose weight is because you eat too many carbs. That's why you're not losing weight, too many carbs. And so you try to eat less carbs, and you still put on weight. Totally oblivious to the fact that the actual reason is that you developed the silent killer, diabetes. You don't have the real source for the problem, you handle the wrong source, and it gets worse. So now you think that it's a carb issue, you cut the carbs, it doesn't help because you didn't know there's an actual source, you're diabetic. You discover it if you're lucky when you're about to die. And that's usually what happens. People, if they're lucky, have to, by really having a gun to their head, have to find the real source for their problems. But usually it's too late. They have operated off the wrong reason for so long that they go down and down and down, and the problem grows and grows and grows. And they're lucky if they discover the right source. Here's the law you need to know. This is a law that applies to business, losing weight, ADD, relationships, everything. For as long as the problem exists, whatever you think the source of the problem is, it is not. This is a law. For as long as the problem exists, whatever you think the source of the problem is, it's not. If you think that the reason that you aren't successful with your sales is blah, but your sales doesn't improve, you have the wrong source. What you call source is actually just an excuse. You think the reason that I don't have enough sales, I'm not a good salesperson, is because I'm not good looking enough. Well, if it doesn't resolve your sales problem when you go get a haircut or when you look a little bit better, then it's just an excuse. Or you see someone 10 times uglier than you doing way better, then it's just an excuse. You think the reason that my sales is not going so well is because I don't have the right suit. You get the right suit, you spend more money now on a suit, you still don't have enough sales, the problem still exists. Well, I'm sorry, you don't have the right source. It's not the suit. It's not your suit. It's something else. For as long as the problem exists, whatever you think the source of the problem is, it's not. And you can take any problem that you currently have, any, and you look at it. And if it still exists for you, you don't have the right source, no matter what you think it is. You are operating off of an excuse. Okay, now you really have my attention. Good, okay. Are you with me? Is everybody with me? And don't let me move from point A to point B before you fully understand point A. So we're looking not for an excuse, we're looking for the root of the problem. But in order to get there, I can't just tell it to you all right now, because honestly, you'll probably revolt against my answer. But as we build on it, you're gonna understand, whoa, this is the truth. So I wanna tell you, well done for making it this far into the video. And if you are interested in actually investing in yourself and getting the solution to ADD for real, use the code AD19 in the link in the description, and you'll be able to get it at the craziest price ever, only because you're watching this video. Two things, okay? So now we know two things. Number one, the correct source for a problem will enable you to handle it. Yes? You guys know that, yes? The correct source for a problem will enable you to handle it. Almost too simple, but it's foundational for what we're speaking about. I need everybody to say yes or no. Do you know that the correct source for a problem will enable you to handle it? Yes or no? Yes. Excellent. Good. Simple. Yeah. Okay. And number two, for as long as the problem exists, you don't know what is the source. No ifs, ands, or buts. Agreed? Yes. Good. Excellent. And this applies to any problem. The fact that this particular webinar is a little bit leaning towards more ADHD topic, what I'm really teaching you here is about handling problems. Okay, good. There's a few more things to know about the problem. Okay? The source of the problem is always before. Always. Whatever you think the problem is, it's before. I've already touched upon it a little bit. I'm going to explain more, but I touched upon it. I said, you see a car accident, the problem is a car accident. No, the source is before. The guy was drunk. You see the person has a headache. You think the problem is the headache. No, the source is before. You're dehydrated. So let's see, what do I mean in a bit more detail. Let's zoom into this topic. Yes, good. Always before. You see you get fat. You thought it's too many carbs. The source is before. You made wrong health choices for a long, long time before you're fat today. And so you develop diabetes in our hypothetical example. Now, if you don't know and fully understand, and you can apply this data, you will make the mistake that most failures do. You will not handle the source. You will handle the symptoms by taking drugs. Most people have major problems in their life. There's a reason before, but the symptoms are there. And so every night they drink into a stupor because they are handling the problem, the symptoms, they handle the symptoms by alcohol. Another person is socially awkward. So they have a real problem before that is causing them to be socially awkward. Right now, the symptom is socially awkward. So what do? They snort cocaine on the weekends in order to be able to be in a social environment and to have the energy to be not so socially awkward. They take a drug to resolve the problem. But their social awkwardness has a source before. Now, that drug can be any kind of drug. It can be entertainment, any entertainment. Binging Netflix uncontrollably. You are having a day that you end your day depressed. Your problem is a depression. That's the symptom at the end of the day. The source is before, not the depression. There's something going on before that you don't see. So now you're depressed. So you take the drug of Netflix and uncontrollably you waste 5 hours of your night watching Netflix. That's the drug. It can be sugar, it can be food, it can be Netflix, it can be cocaine, it can be alcohol, it can be any drug that doesn't handle the source of the problem. It only resolves the symptoms. Are you with me? Yes. Okay, good. Okay, perfect. Perfect. I know it's not easy to chew. Maybe it's like, whoa. It's I'm shooting some bullets at the topic, but it will help you. If you understand this data, you will handle the source. If you understand the data that I'm going to teach you in this series, you will handle the source, which means that you will change your diet, exercise, and mainly you'll change your state of mind. Okay? In our hypothetical example, you'll change your diet. You'll get working out. But really what will happen is you'll change your state of mind. And that leads us to the next thing you need to know. When you handle a problem based on the incorrect source, the problem grows. So it's not only that you have the wrong source for the problem, it's worse. It grows. Your original problem becomes bigger. So the person that was gaining weight and for many years wasn't working out now thinks that they should take some kind of go on some kind of a no-carb diet or something. It's not the problem. Now they're on this no-carb diet. When they eventually start eating carbs, they double in size again, bigger than when they first started. So you'll see that the problem grew. In this case, literally and figuratively, it actually literally grew. The person doubled in size. They gained lots of weight. But that's more of a joke. But in reality, the problem will grow, okay? If you have a marketing problem and you don't realize that the reason is that somebody is stealing money from you, you put more money into marketing, your problem is going to grow. If you think that your sales is because you're wearing the wrong suit, you now go spend money on 3 new suits, your sales still didn't grow. Now your problem is even bigger because number one, you've wasted money on suits. And number two, you are even more let down than before. Mentally, you break down even further. Your problem grows. So when you handle a problem based on the wrong source, it grows. The guy that snorts cocaine on the weekend in order to be less socially awkward, if you check, his problem grows and grows and grows, and he has now all kinds of physical problems because he's a drug addict, and he has all kinds of even worse social anxiety than when he first started with the cocaine, and it becomes a really big issue. If you have the wrong source, the problem grows. Do you understand that? It doesn't remain the same, it becomes worse. With me? And again, this is one of those things I would like everyone to be with me. Yes, exactly, Avery. Exactly. So you didn't find the correct source. Yes, exactly. Good. Okay. Thank you for the answers. It's great. Thank you. Now, if you invest more in marketing, when someone's stealing from you, you will not handle the source. You will lose more money. The problem will grow, as I said. This applies to anything in your life. But you never learn how to think in this way, like I'm teaching you. And so you yourself destroy your life by handling the wrong source. And again, I'm not necessarily talking to each of you right now that's on live. I'm talking to people in general. Okay? And maybe there's some areas of your life where you'll find, wow, yes, I did destroy, I did make the problem worse because I was handling the wrong source. I never thought in this way that Gal is telling me right now, where, hold on, I need to know the right source. And if I don't know the right source, it means that the problem will not only continue, but it will grow. So what happens is you ended up picking different sources that were really excuses. They weren't the correct source. And so things got worse, which means it got destroyed. You're destroying more than you're building. It's called destruction. Are you with me? Is everyone tracking with what I'm saying? Agree. Yes. Good. Okay. Good. So you have excellent intentions to fix your problems every time. It's not that you were doing it in a bad way when you destroyed. You had excellent intentions and you failed to fix them because you don't know the right source. You didn't even know this idea of what I'm telling you, these specific laws. You weren't thinking like this. Maybe you knew it, and yes, it was common sense, but you didn't think in this way that I'm telling you. And so because you didn't know the right source, you failed to fix them. And every time you failed, you reported to yourself that you're a failure. Oh my God, I'm still with my ADD. Look at me again, a situation where I'm acting like ADD. Here is another failure. So you tell yourself again, I'm a failure. And so you tried again anyway, because you know you're not a failure. So you try again, but you failed again and again and again until you truly believe that you're a failure. No, I'm not good at this area, or I'm really bad at it, or I'm incapable because I have X issue. I have ADD, or I can never lose weight, or I'm really bad at sales, or I'm not a good marketer, or I can never get healthy. It runs in my family, or whatever other thing that you say. And so you start to really believe that you're a failure. But now you know, you just had the wrong source for the problem. It's not that you're a failure. You had the wrong source. In fact, you are never a failure. You only fail to discover the right source for a problem. The only issue is you never understood that you have to find the right source for the problem. You thought, it just, whatever it is, or there's no solution, or whatever the case may be. You came up with an excuse and took it as the right source. And I'm saying, no, you don't have the right source, and it's always possible to find the right source, and you are never a failure. You just didn't know the right source for that problem. Is everyone with me? Myrtle, I didn't understand. The scale tells me. I didn't understand. Oh, the scale tells you, yes. On weight, yes, exactly. Yes. Okay, everybody with me. So Barbara and Robert, that's great. Avery, are you with me? Harold, Kelly, Myrtle said yes. Excellent, thank you. Great, Robert, Vusani. Is everyone with me? Okay. Now, if you learn how to discover, the right source of any problem, the problem, regardless of how big or small, will be resolved. Just look at your life, and you'll see that all your problems started with little seeds, small things that you didn't want to confront, small things you didn't want to say, small things you didn't want to admit, small things you didn't want to do. It always starts with small things. And hence, the first and most important thing for you to discover is the actual source of your problems. Otherwise, you unfortunately cannot escape the fact that you know they will not only not be solved. First of all, it's not that they will not only not be solved, they will grow. And you know it. You know the problem will grow unless you solve it. Any one of your problems, deep down, you know, if I don't resolve it, it's going to grow. And if we're leaning into ADD, every single person with ADD knows if I don't resolve it, it's going to grow. And what the solution is I'll medicate. And by medicating, I'll handle it. But anyone on medication knows that over time you will need more medication, and that it's not really the solution, and that medication has side effects, and that it doesn't make you feel 100%, and that it has all kinds of things. You know that it's not resolving the problem grows. But it can be resolved if you discover the right source. Is everyone tracking? So we're talking here about problems that can be resolved. I'm basically coming to you and saying it doesn't matter what problem you have, it can be resolved. Yes, okay, good. So, ADHD, okay? Now, these lessons we do are generally supposed to be an hour long, okay? We always go an hour and 15, an hour 20. We're about an hour and 15 in. So the question is, what is the actual source of ADHD, of course? And in order to understand that, we need to really define it. We really need to look at what could be this hidden thing behind it that we're not yet seeing, that's probably too simple. I'm warning you, you won't believe me how simple it is. You won't believe the angle I'm going to come at you with for why ADD happens. You'll say, nah, it's not that. But it is. So we need to understand it, but there's a few more basic principles that we need to have in place. We need to cover a few more topics. The first thing that you needed to understand is this thing. I needed to shake up your idea around problems, because ADHD is a problem for you or for somebody you know, or you've heard of it as a problem in general. So I need to say, hey, if it's a problem, you're missing something. Doesn't matter what you've come up with to today. If it didn't resolve it, it's not the right source. So what is the actual source of ADHD? That's what we will learn next week. And we're going to continue to get into the topic and start to define it and to really break it down. And it's a big cliffhanger, yes, but what you got today, what I've just shaken up in you, is really big. Don't underestimate it. This whole idea right now that every problem you have can be resolved, and this idea that every single problem has a source that's hidden and before and is unknown to you, and that you've been operating off of excuses, is a really tough thing to swallow. So I'm only giving that to you as a package right now, this what I just taught you, because it is a shakeup, and I'm sure you feel that it's a bit of a shakeup. But we will learn that in much more detail, and we're going to start to dig into ADHD as a subject more next week. As I said, it's going to be a cliffhanger, but you'll see that it will help you with everything in life. It will get you to be able to learn anything you want to learn, to remain focused on anything you want to focus on, to care more, to bring out your power more, to feel much less discouraged, to get rid of this idea that you have a thing called ADHD. It's the beginning of a solution to getting off medication, which, by the way, should be done with a medical professional. So don't just go get off medication. If you are on medication, that's something you should do with a medical professional. But it should open the door to the handling for getting off of medication and being able to focus without it. And that's what we're really going to get into. So there's more to learn. Today we've opened up the topic. So for this particular lesson, thank you. Very well done for getting to the end of this lesson. And I want to tell you that not everybody got this lesson because it's, at least right now, not made public. And so you probably got it sent to you by someone, or you went to some link and got here. So because of that, you have the two offers. Number one, the free coaching. And number two, going to the link in the description and getting a $199 program, which will probably go up in price, for only $19, which is at a special that we probably won't offer for long. So you go to the link in the description, as I said, go to the promo code section, type in AD19 and you'll get it. Now, let me tell you something. Handling ADD, as you can see, is not something that I can just tell you, oh, here's one lesson or two lessons and this is the answer to everything forever. This is a problem that's been going on for a long time, for you or someone you know. But there is a very, very amazing, workable, powerful solution. You just haven't been introduced to it yet. And that's what I do over a series of lessons. So it's not just one lesson. It's a series to really uncover, and we handle different angles, and I explain to you all kinds of things that's gonna blow you away. About the DSM, which is a Diagnostics and Statistics Manual, about what Ritalin really is, about what drugs really do, about what the problem is with the whole labeling of ADD, and about what is the solution. So how do you handle it without giving excuses? If that's what you want, register now. Go to the link in the description and get it. And I cannot wait to see you on the further lessons, and I can't wait to handle the ADD for real. Okay, thank you for tuning in. Well done for completing this, and see you on the next one.